I was at the park the other day and saw this guy, probably in his mid-40s, jump into a pickup soccer game with a bunch of teenagers. And for a few minutes, he was living the dream. He was surprisingly agile, weaving through the kids with this huge grin on his face. You could practically see the thought bubble over his head. Still got it. He was a living, breathing billboard for the idea that age is nothing but a number. And then it happened. He went for a sharp cut, a move he'd probably made 1,000 times 25 years ago. But this time, his body sent back a different reply. He just crumpled. No contact, no dramatic slide tackle, just the sharp, undeniable reality of a pulled hamstring. As he sat on the grass, rubbing the back of his leg with a look that was equal parts pain and embarrassment, the scene shifted. Suddenly, the voice in his head wasn't saying, "Still got it." It was whispering, "Act your age." That moment was such a perfect, painful illustration of a conflict we all navigate. His spirit was shouting one thing, but his biology was screaming the complete opposite. So which one is right? Okay, let's unpack this.
As I delved into the research for this deep dive, what I found truly captivating was this fundamental distinction. Many of us still perceive aging as this simple linear progression, hitting 30, then 40, then 50, and it's all just a steady wind down. But the reality, as we'll see, is far more complex and, frankly, exciting. Today, we're diving deep into something we all experience, aging. It's not just about candles on a cake, is it?
Not at all.
We're going to explore how our bodies actually change, the surprising ways society tells us how to act our age, and what all of this means for our health, our careers, and even how we live our lives.
It's true. What's particularly striking here is that the tension between act your age and age is nothing but a number isn't just a quirky saying. It actually highlights a fundamental, crucial distinction between biological aging and sociocultural age constructs.
Right.
Understanding this difference can really shift our entire perspective on living a full life, no matter the chronological number. This understanding, as we'll explore, impacts everything from how public health policies are formulated to how we navigate our daily interactions and pursue personal development throughout our entire lives.
So let's get into it. That poor guy at the park, bless his heart, ran smack into a biological wall. We often think of aging as this linear, inevitable march, but there's a crucial difference between chronological age, the number of years you've been alive, and biological aging, which is far more complex and, frankly, a lot less predictable. It's not just about the calendar turning, it's about the actual wear and tear and the resilience of your cells and systems.
Precisely. While chronological aging is indeed the steady, relentless passage of time for everyone, we all get a year older on our birthdays, biological aging is actually quite variable among individuals.
Okay.
Think of two people, both 60 years old chronologically. One might be running marathons, maintaining an active social life, and feeling incredibly vibrant, while the other struggles with multiple chronic conditions and reduced mobility.
Sure, yeah.
Their biological ages are clearly very different, and importantly, unlike chronological age, biological aging is surprisingly modifiable.
Modifiable, okay, that's key.
It is. We've learned that the fundamental biological processes influencing lifespan are deeply, intricately connected to the very causes of individual diseases. Take, for instance, how our bodies react differently to stress or substances across the lifespan. While a young person's body can often recover from late-night activity with relative ease, a seasoned individual pushing their body in the same way, like our soccer player,
Wow, yeah, different story.
often suffers from frustrating sprains and lingering pain because their cellular repair mechanisms are simply less efficient and their tissues less forgiving.
That makes so much sense. So it's not just about getting older, but how you're getting older, and that there are actual biological levers we can pull or at least influence. What's the biggest misconception you think people still hold about biological aging?
I think the biggest misconception is that it's a single inevitable decline, just this steady downward slope. It's not. This understanding has led to a revolutionary concept, the Geroscience Hypothesis. This hypothesis suggests that interventions specifically designed to modify the underlying biology of aging can actually slow its progression.
Slow it down.
Yes. The profound implication here is that by addressing aging at a fundamental level, we can delay or even prevent the onset of multiple age-related diseases simultaneously. Imagine a future where we're not just treating individual illnesses as they crop up.
Like whack-a-mole.
Exactly, like whack-a-mole. But proactively preventing a cascade of health issues, fundamentally altering what it means to age. This isn't just about extending lifespan, adding more years to your life, but critically, about enhancing health span.
Health span, I like that term.
Meaning you spend more of those years in good health, free from chronic illness, think of it less like a single, unbreakable timeline that dictates a fixed decline, and more like a set of interconnected biological pathways, many of which we can actively influence through lifestyle, environment, and potentially future medical advancements. It truly is about optimizing the quality of those later years.
That's a powerful shift in perspective, moving from just adding years to adding life to those years. But then there's the other side of the coin, the part that makes age is nothing but a number, rings so true.
Yeah.
So much of what we consider age appropriate is purely socially constructed.
Oh, absolutely.
It's about what society expects of us at certain chronological milestones, not necessarily what our bodies dictate. It's the unwritten script we're handed for each decade of our lives, sometimes without even realizing it. Think about the expectations placed on us as we turn 18 or enter our 20s. Suddenly, we're expected to act like a full-fledged adult. For many, this translates into being economically self-sufficient, securing independent housing, and having reliable transportation.
Big asks.
These societal benchmarks often weigh more heavily on young men, to the point where failing to meet them can, frankly, limit opportunities in personal relationships and even career advancement. Then as we move into our 30s or 40s, the script changes again. We're expected to enter a permanent union, often marriage, and have children.
Right, the settling down phase.
For women, these expectations can be particularly constraining, leading to a profound sense of falling short or failure if these milestones aren't met by a certain time, as if there's a biological clock on career or family decisions that simply isn't there in reality. And as our numerical ages climb into the 50s, 60s, and beyond, there's a whole new set of unspoken rules.
Yeah, what are those?
We're often expected to discard our imaginations, to look more serious, to tell fewer jokes, to move less, essentially to stop being childish. It's like society tries to put us in a box, limiting our creativity and spontaneity just because a certain number of years have passed. The fascinating part about these expectations is just how fluid and, indeed, made up they are. And we can see this clearly by looking back in history. In 1950, for instance, the average age of marriage was around 23 for men and a remarkably young 20 for women.
20? Wow.
Fast forward to 1970, and the average age for a woman's first child was approximately 21. These weren't just occasional occurrences or niche trends, they were widely expected behaviors. If you were 25 in the mid-20th century, a married couple with a child or two was absolutely the norm, the expectation for both the middle-class white and poor black man and woman alike.
So different from today.
Totally. The point is, these weren't hardwired biological imperative. They were the prevailing social scripts of the time, reinforced by economic realities and cultural norms. This historical perspective really underscores that what we consider normal or appropriate at any given age is highly fluid and changes dramatically with the generations.
So what does this all mean when we try to reconcile these two seemingly contradictory truths, the biological realities and the fluid social constructs? This is where the Four Ages framework proposes a powerful way to understand our journey. It defines ages not by rigid chronological numbers, but as more generalized epochs or mindsets. That account for both our undeniable biological journey and the malleable social expectations that shape our lives. It's less about a birthday and more about a phase of life. This framework offers a really insightful perspective on how we progress. First, we have the age of discovery. Biologically, you are in your formative years, typically up to your early 20s. Your bones and brains are remarkably supple, making this a period of rapid learning and physical growth. Your neuroplasticity is at its peak, absorbing information like a sponge.
Like sponges, yeah.
Societally, you're expected to use your imagination, to dream big, to wonder, to explore, and your social faux pas are often laughed off as simply part of the learning process.
Makes sense. You're figuring things out.
You're discovering how to navigate the world, learning social cues, and figuring out your place. Our elders' model behavior and educational systems are designed to help us learn how to exist in society, building a foundational understanding of the world.
So the early years are really about building that foundational strength and identity, absorbing everything around you without the full weight of adult responsibilities. But then, it seems society's expectations really kick into high gear as we move into the age of development, don't they?
They absolutely do. Next comes the age of development. Biologically, this is often when we're at our peak physical strength and cognitive processing power, typically our 20s and early 30s.
Peak performance time.
We need that strength, whether we're pulling all-nighters, studying for exams, launching a startup, intensely cultivating relationships, or burning the candle at both ends to establish ourselves.
Burning the candle, doesn't it?
Societally, this is the time when we're expected to figure out the who, what, when, where, and why of ourselves. It's about cultivating skills, forging an identity, often finding a career path, and feeling a strong sense of movement towards a specific goal, be it a degree, a long-term partner, or a particular professional achievement.
A lot of pressure.
There's a powerful drive towards self-actualization and establishing independence.
That sounds like a lot of pressure, constantly striving and building. And then once you've supposedly developed, you move into what's often seen as the most productive phase.
Exactly. Following that, we transition into the age of doing. Here, we become what society deems productive citizens, largely focused on accomplishing and accumulating.
Accumulating stuff, status.
Right. We're driven by intense social expectations of success, whether that's measured by salary, promotions, or our children's achievements. There's a constant social comparison. You earned 70K. Oh, please, I earned 100K before my yearly bonus. Or you help your kid get a scholarship to State U. That's nothing. I made sure mine got into Ivy League U.
Ugh, the comparison trap.
When these social expectations are met, we often feel immense pride, a sense of having made it. But if not, jealousy, burnout, or a profound sense of falling short can creep in despite what our individual desires might be. It's often a time of peak external validation.
And after all that doing and achieving, what happens then? Does society just expect us to slowly fade into the background?
Not at all, and this is where it gets truly fascinating. Finally, we arrive at the age of deviance.
Deviance. Interesting name.
It is, isn't it? Biologically, we generally experience a natural decline in physical abilities. Our bodies become less resilient, perhaps more prone to that pulled hamstring.
Packs the part.
Exactly. However, sociologically, this period often represents a profound growth and newfound freedom. The intense expectations of the age of doing begin to loosen their grip. Expectations shift dramatically, from accumulating to pursuing bucket lists and doing what was previously not allowed or prioritized due to career or family demands.
The freedom phase.
Older people possess immense insight from their lived experience, a deep well of wisdom, allowing them to choose when to embrace new expectations and when to reject old ones. They are, in a sense, most free to deviate from the societal bonds that might have previously constrained them.
So they can finally...
Pretty much. This can manifest as taking up a new passion, traveling extensively, starting a second career, or simply enjoying life on their own terms, finally unburdened by external pressures. This framework helps us understand that while biology undoubtedly sets some very real boundaries, like that pulled hamstring from our opening story, our social roles and our very self-perception are much, much more malleable than we often assume.
Much more flexible.
It's about finding harmony between the physical realities and the boundless possibilities of our human spirit, seeing each phase not as a limitation, but as an opportunity for different kinds of growth.
That idea of finding harmony between biological reality and social malleability and the fluidity of these ages takes on a whole new dimension when we apply it to the workplace. If we connect this to the bigger picture, especially in today's dynamic global economy, this interplay between biological aging and fluid societal expectations plays out vividly.
Absolutely.
For the very first time in history, we have 5 distinct generations working side by side. Traditionalists born before 1946, baby boomers, Generation X, millennials, and Gen Z.
5 generations. That's unprecedented.
Each brings its own defining values, communication styles, and worldviews, shaped by vastly different historical events, from the Great Depression to the Great Recession and the rise of the Internet. It's an unprecedented mix, and it brings both incredible opportunities and unique challenges for organizational human resource strategies and employee well-being.
Indeed, and the statistics really drive home the value proposition of this generational mix. Companies that actively foster age-diverse teams actually outperform their peers across the board. Research indicates they are 1.7 times more likely to be innovative.
Wow, 1.7 times.
And perhaps even more impressively, they achieve 2.3 times more cash flow per employee.
That's huge.
This isn't merely about ticking a box for inclusion. It's a clear, quantifiable business advantage that drives real results in contemporary global economies.
So it's not just a nice-to-have, but a must-have for innovation and financial success. What are some of the practical benefits we see when these different age groups truly collaborate?
Let's break down some of these benefits. First, consider the broader skill sets that emerge. Baby boomers, for instance, often excel in leadership roles, bringing a wealth of long-term industry expertise, institutional knowledge, and strategic insight developed over decades.
The deep experience.
Exactly. Navigating various economic cycles and business challenges. In contrast, millennials and Gen Z are often the early adopters, bringing cutting-edge, tech-savvy, fresh perspectives, and an innate understanding of new industry trends, digital platforms, and emerging consumer behaviors.
So the old guard and the new guard working together.
Precisely. Imagine a marketing campaign. You could combine a baby boomer's deep experience in storytelling, brand building, and client relationships with a millennial's expertise in digital marketing analytics, influencer strategies, and social media engagement. That synergy creates a far more robust, relevant, and comprehensive strategy that truly resonates across diverse customer segments.
That makes perfect sense. Different lived experiences leading to different strengths. What about problem solving?
Absolutely. Second, age diversity demonstrably leads to improved problem solving and creativity. Different age groups naturally approach problems from different perspectives, often informed by their generational experiences.
Different angles.
An older employee might lean on traditional, proven methods, drawing from a vast reservoir of past experiences and knowing what didn't work previously. A younger employee, however, might bring truly out-of-the-box, innovative solutions, unburdened by conventional thinking, and more comfortable with rapid experimentation.
Okay, give me an example.
Take the launch of a new mobile phone, for example. Older employees can provide crucial insights into their age group's needs regarding user interface, simplicity, accessibility features, and overall reliability, ensuring the product is accessible and appealing to a broader market.
Things younger designers might miss.
Potentially, yes. Meanwhile, younger employees can target the specific preferences and digital habits of Gen Y and Z, from app integration to social media sharing features, ensuring comprehensive market penetration and relevance across generations. This blend of perspectives leads to more holistic, robust, and creative solutions. Third, age-diverse workplaces naturally create incredible mentorship opportunities. This isn't just a one-way street, it's a reciprocal learning environment.
Two-way learning.
Of course, experienced employees can mentor younger colleagues, sharing invaluable institutional knowledge, career guidance, and soft skills honed over years. But there's also a powerful phenomenon of reverse mentoring, where younger employees offer insights to older colleagues in areas like new technologies, social media strategies, or emerging digital tools.
Ah, the reverse mentorship. I've heard about that.
Imagine a Gen Z employee patiently teaching a baby boomer how to leverage AI tools for greater efficiency, or a millennial helping a Gen X colleague navigate new virtual collaboration platforms. It's a mutual exchange that enriches everyone and keeps the entire workforce current. And finally, a truly inclusive, age-diverse environment leads to enhanced employee retention. When employees from all age groups feel genuinely valued, seen, and heard for their unique contributions, job satisfaction naturally improves.
Makes sense. Feeling valued matters.
This recognition of each generation's specific strengths and needs fosters a more harmonious workplace culture, which in turn boosts morale and loyalty. Organizations that proactively provide tailored benefits, such as leadership development opportunities specifically designed for Gen Z, flexible working arrangements that appeal to millennials, or robust retirement planning for baby boomers, consistently experience higher retention rates.
So investing in people pays off.
It shows that the company invests in its people throughout their entire career life cycle, promoting employee well-being beyond just a paycheck.
That sounds like a compelling case for age diversity. But what's the biggest practical hurdle you've seen companies face when trying to implement this, beyond just the theoretical benefits? Because it sounds great on paper, right? But the reality is, bringing all these different perspectives and working styles together isn't always smooth sailing. There are real, tangible challenges that organizations must navigate to truly harness the benefits of age diversity.
One of the biggest practical hurdles is honestly just overcoming unconscious biases. One of the most insidious challenges is the prevalence of generational stereotypes.
The stereotypes.
We've all heard them, implicitly or explicitly. Assumptions like baby boomers resist change and aren't tech savvy, or Gen Z lacks a strong work ethic and only cares about social media.
Yeah, those broad brushstrokes.
These blanket statements create unnecessary barriers and deep misunderstandings between colleagues. It's particularly insidious when these stereotypes manifest as ageism, leading to real consequences. For example, stereotypes about older generations' learning abilities can result in them receiving inferior training compared to their younger counterparts, which directly impacts their job performance and career growth.
That's awful.
What's often overlooked is that age bias isn't just an older worker problem. A Glassdoor survey, for instance, found that employees aged 18-34 are actually 13% more likely to face age discrimination in the workplace than those 55 and older.
Really? Younger people, too?
Yes. This shows that the issue is far more widespread and nuanced than commonly perceived.
So it's a two-way street when it comes to stereotypes. What about communication? I can imagine that being a huge challenge.
Absolutely. Communication gaps are another significant challenge. Different generations often prefer vastly different communication styles, which can lead to friction or misunderstanding.
Slack versus email versus meetings.
Exactly. While younger employees, particularly millennials and Gen Z, might gravitate towards instant messaging tools like Slack for quick, informal exchanges, many baby boomers might prefer face-to-face meetings, detailed emails, or phone calls for more nuanced discussions and to build rapport.
And everyone gets annoyed.
These differing preferences can create inefficiencies, a sense of being unheard, or even frustration if not proactively acknowledged and addressed. It requires an intentional effort to bridge those gaps.
In training, that must be a nightmare trying to cater to everyone.
It definitely can be a challenge. There's the perennial issue of adapting training programs for such a diverse workforce. It's tough to create learning initiatives that cater to everyone's preferred style and pace.
Hands-on versus online.
Right. Baby boomers, for instance, might thrive with hands-on, in-person training with detailed manuals, while Gen Z, having grown up with digital platforms, might excel with online, interactive modules and micro-learning bursts. This challenge is especially relevant right now, given recent economic shifts. The New York Times reported that between 2020 and 2022, 55% of retired employees aged 55-64 rejoined the workforce, largely due to financial concerns.
Wow, over half.
This influx of experienced professionals, some of whom may have been out of the workforce for a few years, necessitates updated training that accounts for their unique learning preferences and any technological shifts that occurred during their absence. It highlights the need for truly flexible, adaptable, and multimodal learning solutions.
So how do organizations actually make age diversity work in practice? It's not enough to simply have different age groups present. It's about implementing proactive strategies that move beyond mere inclusion to active integration, creating a truly harmonious and productive environment. What's the first step?
A critical starting point is inclusive recruitment practices. To avoid unconscious bias and promote generational inclusiveness, organizations must shift their focus to skill-based hiring rather than making assumptions based solely on a resume's chronological details.
Look at skills, not just years.
Precisely. This means utilizing tools like blind screening, where identifying information is removed, or assessment platforms that evaluate candidates purely on their competencies, regardless of their graduation year or length of experience.
Okay.
Furthermore, it's crucial to scrutinize job descriptions and eliminate age-coded language, such as digital native, which implies youth, or seasoned professional, which can imply older, and sometimes even energetic, which can be implicitly biased against older candidates.
Watch the wording.
Job listings should be promoted across a wide array of platforms and communities that engage all age groups, not just university job boards or traditional recruitment sites.
That makes sense. It's about opening the door equally. What about the day-to-day experience once people are hired?
That's where flexible work arrangements become paramount, and they are no longer just a perk. They are a necessity for generational inclusivity and employee well-being. Gen Z and millennials increasingly seek remote work options, flexible hours, and a culture that prioritizes results over rigid schedules, valuing personal time and work-life integration.
The demand for flexibility is huge now.
In stark contrast, many older generations often prefer more structured in-office routines or hybrid models that allow for consistent interpersonal interaction and a sense of stability built on face-to-face communication.
So how do you please everyone?
The solution lies in offering truly customizable work schedules that empower each generation to work in ways that best suit their lifestyle, biological rhythms, and maximize their productivity. This adaptability is key to attracting and retaining talent across the lifespan.
So moving beyond just flexibility, how can companies ensure they're meeting the diverse needs of different generations in terms of what they offer?
Well, a one-size-fits-all benefits plan rarely works effectively in a multi-generational workforce.
Right. Needs change.
Instead, organizations should curate benefit packages that truly cater to varied life stages and their associated needs, promoting overall employee well-being programs. For instance, baby boomers might prioritize enhanced healthcare coverage, comprehensive retirement planning, and regular wellness checks as they approach or enter their later years.
Makes sense.
Gen X employees, often in their peak earning years and raising families, might value tuition support for their children, robust financial planning tools, or expanded vacation time. Millennials are typically looking for strong career development programs, flexible paid time off, and generous parental leave policies to support their evolving family lives.
Career growth and family support.
And Gen Z, the youngest in the workforce, might be motivated by student loan assistance, accessible mental health support, and learning stipends for upskilling in a rapidly changing economy.
Different priorities at different stages.
Tailored benefits not only significantly improve employee satisfaction, but also send a clear signal that the organization values its employees at every stage of their professional journey.
That's incredibly insightful, acknowledging that what drives satisfaction changes throughout life. And to break down those stereotypes we talked about earlier, how can companies really foster true collaboration?
It's vital to encourage cross-generational collaboration. This is how you combat stereotypes and build genuine mutual respect across age groups. Implementing mentorship and reverse mentorship programs is incredibly effective.
That two-way street again.
Where older employees share invaluable industry knowledge and leadership wisdom, and younger ones provide crucial insights into technology and modern trends. Facilitating team-building exercises that intentionally blend employees from different age groups can break down silos and encourage informal learning. Consider this. In 2011, only 25% of baby boomers were smartphone users. Today, that number has jumped to 68%.
68%. That's a huge jump.
This remarkable adaptability proves that every generation has something valuable to contribute and a willingness to engage with new ideas and learn from each other.
That statistic on boomers and smartphones is really striking. It shows how adaptable people are, regardless of age. But what about recognition and career progression? Are there generational biases there too?
Unfortunately, yes. Organizations must also recognize and reward all generations equitably. Promotion gaps and recognition disparities can be significant sources of resentment and a drain on morale.
Yeah, that breeds unhappiness fast.
For example, Gen Z often feels overlooked for leadership roles despite their competence and fresh ideas, while Gen X might feel stuck in middle management with fewer opportunities for upward mobility compared to their younger or older counterparts. CNBC reported that Gen X leaders averaged only 1.2 promotions in 5 years, significantly less than millennials' 1.6, and boomers' 1.4 during the same period.
Gen X gets squeezed.
The solution is to tie promotions to objective skill assessments, demonstrable project impact, and leadership potential, rather than relying solely on tenure or outdated notions of time served. This ensures fairness and motivates all employees.
So it's about building a culture that's not just accepting, but truly adaptable.
Exactly. Cultivating a dynamic and adaptive culture is also crucial. An age-diverse company should consistently reflect the evolving needs of its workforce, rather than clinging to outdated norms. Implementing regular feedback loops through anonymous surveys or focus groups can help identify age-specific concerns and aspirations.
Actually listen to people.
This cultural agility, the ability to adapt policies and practices based on employee needs, is key to maintaining relevance and inclusiveness. Organizations should encourage open communication, foster cross-age dialogue, and embrace inclusive decision-making processes to remain responsive to shifting workplace dynamics and evolving employee well-being. Furthermore, it's incredibly beneficial to understand generational priorities. Each generation values different things in the workplace, and recognizing and accommodating these preferences significantly enhances retention and engagement.
Like we talked about with benefits.
Right. Gen Z, for instance, often prioritizes competitive salaries, workplace diversity and inclusion, and tech-enabled efficient environments. Millennials are typically motivated by work-life balance, clear career progression, purpose-driven work, and ample vacation time.
Work-life balance is key for them.
Gen X values job security, autonomy, and robust retirement planning, often juggling family and career responsibilities. And baby boomers often seek respect, stability, comprehensive healthcare benefits, and opportunities to mentor. Aligning the work culture and offerings with these distinct priorities ensures that every employee feels understood, valued, and genuinely motivated to contribute their best.
And finally, going beyond just policies, how do we ensure everyone feels truly included in the day-to-day?
That brings us to workplace inclusivity. This goes beyond simply having a diverse age group present. It's essential to ensure that every generation feels truly seen, heard, and included in decision-making, collaboration, and the day-to-day culture.
True belonging.
This means actively working to avoid microaggressions and stereotypes, for example, calling Gen Z lazy or boomers outdated through sensitivity training and awareness campaigns. Building inclusive communication norms is vital, ensuring that both digital native and tech-shy employees are equally comfortable in how information is shared, whether it's through Slack, email, or in-person meetings.
Meeting people where they are.
Organizations should also organize inclusive team-building activities that don't cater exclusively to one age group, blending things like hackathons with knowledge-sharing roundtables or volunteer days. Encouraging age-diverse employee resource groups or cross-generational panels ensures that varied voices are represented in strategic decisions. Inclusion isn't just about being present, it's about being actively valued.
Makes sense.
Conducting periodic inclusivity audits and anonymous pulse surveys can help identify any generational bias or blind spots in policies, communication, or leadership approaches, fostering a truly collaborative and resilient team.
So we've talked about our individual experiences of aging and how the biological and social aspects play out in the workplace, influencing HR strategies and intergenerational dynamics. Now let's zoom out to public health, which is where the biological realities of aging and the social aspects of age truly intersect with policy and care from the earliest stages of life right through old age.
A crucial connection.
It's about ensuring well-being for everyone at every single point in their lives and understanding how age-specific biological vulnerabilities and developmental milestones impact public health policy formulation.
It's critical to acknowledge that vulnerability doesn't just appear in old age. It often starts much, much earlier. Vulnerable children are defined as those at a greater risk of physical or emotional harm or poor outcomes due to one or more factors in their lives.
So risk factors early on.
Exactly. A public health approach to this involves a multi-pronged strategy. Primary prevention, which means addressing the root causes of vulnerability before problems even emerge. Early intervention, which involves supporting children and their families as soon as problems arise, preventing them from escalating. And mitigation, aimed at reducing the negative impact of difficult circumstances and building resilience.
Prevention, intervention, mitigation.
The financial cost of late intervention is staggering, estimated at a whopping $16.6 billion annually in some regions.
$16 billion, that's huge.
That's a huge incentive to get it right from the start, demonstrating the critical need for proactive policy.
That's an incredible figure, highlighting the economic as well as human cost of not intervening early. What are the main factors that create this vulnerability?
The risk factors are varied and often interconnected, forming a complex web. At an individual level, we see things like child maltreatment, neglect, poor physical and mental health, low self-esteem, or even school exclusion and substance use at a young age, which can have profound biological impacts on developing brains.
Things affecting the child directly.
Within the family, risk factors can include domestic violence, substance abuse in the household, parental incarceration or separation, parental mental illness, as well as poverty and poor housing conditions that directly impact a child's environment and well-being.
The home environment.
And at the community level, a lack of opportunities, social isolation, pervasive violence, discrimination, or unhealthy neighborhood characteristics like unsafe, unwalkable streets, high pollution, a proliferation of fast food options, or a lack of green spaces all contribute significantly to a child's vulnerability and future health outcomes, impacting physical activity guidelines and overall health.
So the wider environment plays a big role too.
Absolutely. Conversely, there are powerful protective factors that can buffer against these risks and foster healthy development. These include good social and emotional skills, positive peer and adult relationships, engaging hobbies, and a strong sense of resilience.
Building resilience is key.
A stable home environment, supportive parenting, strong community cohesion, and consistent access to quality education, healthcare, youth work, affordable housing, and green spaces are all vital. Resilience, in particular, is the ability to adapt to stress and adversity. It's not that resilient people are unharmed by challenges, but they cope better, bounce back more effectively, and learn from difficult experiences.
Bouncing back.
Importantly, social capital's strong networks of support within families and communities significantly increases the probability of children developing resilient characteristics, even when they're growing up in otherwise unfavorable environments, proving that connection is a profound protective force.
It's fascinating how those social connections can literally rewire outcomes.
Yeah.
And how do public health initiatives translate these understandings into action?
Public health initiatives are actively working on these fronts, adopting an integrated lifespan model. Efforts to support positive parenting, like the Start for Life campaign focusing on the crucial first 1,000 days of a child's life, aim to build foundational parenting skills,
Those first 1,000 days are so critical.
which have long-term impacts on a child's physical and mental health. There are also programs designed to address parental substance abuse, with toolkits and protocols to ensure children are protected from the negative effects of addiction in the household. Preconception care and transforming maternity care are also key, setting a healthy trajectory from the very beginning of life.
Starting even before birth.
In early years, health visitors play a crucial role, and programs like the Family Nurse Partnership Program provide intensive home visiting for vulnerable young mothers, offering consistent support. Significant attention is paid to early speech, language, and communication needs, which are primary indicators of overall child well-being and future educational success.
Communication skills are foundational.
For adolescents and young adults, programs specifically target mental health through mental health support teams in schools, aiming to destigmatize and provide early support. There are also comprehensive teenage pregnancy prevention strategies, including targeted work in robust relationships and sex education, RSE training. Resilience building is a huge focus through campaigns like Rise Above and new curricula for relationships and health education, equipping young people with coping mechanisms.
Giving them the tools.
Even youth in the criminal justice system are being supported with models like Capricorn, which aims to prevent offending through whole system approaches to violence. These interventions illustrate a proactive, holistic approach to nurturing well-being from the earliest moments of life, recognizing age-specific vulnerabilities and developmental milestones.
At 17, the world felt like a dare. The poster in the school hallway screamed at us about the dangers of vaping, with stark, ugly photos that we learned to ignore. There were artifacts from an adult world that didn't understand the grammar of ours. To them, we were a statistic, a vulnerable demographic. To us, a Friday night was a complex negotiation of identity, and the sweet-smelling cloud passed between friends was a currency of belonging. Then, one evening, scrolling through my phone, I saw a short animation. No actors, no lectures, just a simple, brilliant line drawing of a brain. My brain, it said, the prefrontal cortex still a construction site. It showed how nicotine wasn't just bad. It was a saboteur, sneaking in and rewiring the very circuits that were supposed to help me make decisions, to feel joy, to become me. For the first time, it wasn't a command from on high. It was a piece of intelligence, a map of my own biology. The next time a vape came my way, I didn't see the dare. I saw the blueprint of my own mind, and for the first time, I felt a flicker of desire to protect it.
That's a powerful example of how communicating the why the biological mechanism can be so much more effective than just saying, don't do it. It connects directly to the individual.
Exactly. That's a powerful way to convey vital information, moving beyond just warnings to providing the why in a relatable way. This leads to a fascinating point about how we approach public health for different groups. It's not just about chronological age. It's about making sure care is truly effective for everyone, recognizing the unique cultural, social, and experiential contexts that shape individual needs and outcomes. Take cultural competency in substance use treatment, for example. Data consistently shows stark disparities in access to treatment and overdose rates for people of color. The existing system often isn't responsive to their unique needs,
Which leads to huge problems.
leading to distrust, underutilization of services, and unfortunately higher mortality. This is why principles like the CLAS standards, culturally and linguistically appropriate services developed by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, are so crucial.
CLAS standards, right?
These standards provide a framework to help eliminate healthcare disparities by ensuring services are equitable and respectful of diverse beliefs and needs. And when we talk about diversity here, it's broad. It includes Black, Indigenous, people of color,
Yeah.
BIPOC,
Yeah, POC.
and/or Latinx individuals, people with disabilities, those experiencing homelessness, individuals with mental illness, people who identify as LGBTQIA+ boy, and non-English speakers, among many others, all of whom face specific barriers to care. So if the standards are there, how do we make sure the people delivering the care are equipped to meet them?
That's the million-dollar question.
Building the right workforce development is a concrete effort to address this. Programs like BCE, which is Black Addiction Counselor Education, and LA, Latino Addiction Counselor Education, provide flexible, affordable education for diverse counselors, focusing on unique cultural values and perspectives pertinent to specific communities.
Training counselors from those communities.
Beyond these, Ongoing equity, inclusion, and diversity trainings are essential for all staff, fostering a more sensitive and effective approach to care. There are even highly specific trainings like the two-eyed seeing approach, which integrates Western medicine with tribal and Native American medicine for opioid use disorder.
Two-eyed seeing, interesting.
Acknowledging and respecting indigenous healing practices as equally valid and effective pathways to recovery. This deep integration demonstrates a profound commitment to cultural competency. And beyond the cultural aspects, there's the critical need for language access.
Right, absolutely critical.
Absolutely. Linguistic support is another vital piece of the puzzle, especially in a diverse nation. This means encouraging contracted programs to provide certified interpreters who are not only fluent in language, but also well-versed in the specific, often sensitive context of substance use disorders.
Not just translating words, but context.
Some agencies are even proactively recruiting bicultural staff to better engage the communities they serve, building trust and rapport more naturally. And in a remarkable example of tailoring care, there's a movement to train deaf individuals who are in recovery to become recovery coaches themselves, ensuring that those in the deaf community have access to support that truly understands their lived experience and communicates in their native language, American Sign Language. What's the tangible impact of these tailored approaches?
Hopefully better outcomes.
The impact of these initiatives on patients is profound. Ideally, people are far more likely to access and stay engaged in services and ultimately achieve long-term recovery if those services genuinely reflect their unique cultural and linguistic needs.
Makes total sense. Trust is key.
It's about connecting people with recovery coaches who look like them and have similar experiences, fostering trust and a deeper connection that traditional one-size-fits-all approaches might miss. This also requires systemic change, where states actually set standards, requiring CLAS incorporation into contracts and licensure regulations for treatment service vendors.
Holding providers accountable.
It's also about agencies needing to walk their talk by doing internal training and policy reviews, demonstrating their commitment to these principles beyond mere rhetoric. While these efforts are so crucial, are there still significant challenges in getting this right?
Oh, I'm sure there are. Data must be one.
However, a significant barrier remains: data challenges. Identifying patients' specific cultural and linguistic needs is hard because a lot of the data relies on self-reporting, and racial and ethnic data often falls into an other category, making it incredibly difficult to disaggregate and truly understand inequities at a granular level.
The dreaded other box?
Yeah. More critically, the data we do get only reflects those who are already accessing the treatment system. This leaves a huge blind spot. How do we get data on the 50% or more of people who aren't touching the system at all, even those who tragically die from overdoses?
That's a massive gap in understanding.
While there are increasingly sophisticated data analysis tools like linking state health data with other agency data to analyze trends, understanding why certain groups aren't being served remains a critical and ongoing challenge. We're getting savvier, but there's still much work to do to reach those who are most in need but least visible in our current systems, and to integrate this data into effective policy formulation.
Moving to the other end of the lifespan, the aging global population presents both immense challenges and incredible opportunities. This raises an important consideration. How do we support healthy, independent, and fulfilling later years, not just for the privileged few, but for everyone?
A huge question for societies everywhere.
Technology and continuous lifelong learning are proving to be truly powerful allies in this endeavor, forming a crucial part of an integrated lifespan development model. First, let's look at Geron technology, which is the fascinating study of technology and aging, focused explicitly on developing innovative solutions for older adults.
Geron technology.
Okay. This field is rapidly transforming elderly care, aiming to enhance personalized education, mental health support, and active aging initiatives. One key application is personalized care plans with AI. Imagine AI algorithms analyzing vast amounts of data, your entire medical history, your lifestyle patterns, your personal preferences gleaned from electronic health records, wearable devices, and home sensors to create a truly tailored care plan just for you.
AI for personalized aging plans.
The benefits are immense.
Yeah.
Improved health outcomes by proactively preventing hospitalizations and reducing complications, enhanced quality of life by addressing unique needs and preferences with precision, and increased efficiency, which ultimately reduces healthcare costs.
Sounds promising.
Companies like CarePredict are already using AI-powered wearables to track seniors' daily activities and provide personalized insights to caregivers, while MediSafe uses AI for medication management, identifying potential errors and offering tailored recommendations. Another groundbreaking aspect of Geron technology is the creation of adaptive living environments. This involves using smart home devices like intelligent thermostats that learn preferences, lighting systems that adjust based on natural light or time of day, and security cameras that can be controlled remotely or automated to respond to an older adult's needs.
Smart homes for seniors.
Sensor technologies are also crucial, enabling passive fall detection, monitoring medication adherence, and tracking vital signs discreetly without requiring active input from the individual. Voice assistants like Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant not only control these devices, but can also provide reminders for appointments or medications, facilitate communication with loved ones, and even offer companionship through engaging conversation, combating loneliness.
Companionship from AI.
It's becoming a factor. These technologies significantly enhance safety, promote independence by allowing older adults to age in place longer and more comfortably, and improve overall comfort by creating a truly responsive and supportive living environment.
That's incredible to think about homes that can literally adapt to your changing needs. But beyond the gadgets, what about staying mentally engaged as we age?
That's where lifelong learning for seniors comes in, and it's proving to be a vital tool for adapting and thriving, and it's much more than just a hobby.
More than just Sudoku.
Definitely. For many seniors, it's about adaptability and empowerment. Learning new technologies, how to use smartphones, tablets, and computers effectively helps them stay connected with family and friends through video calls, manage finances online, access important information, and even utilize telehealth services for medical consultations.
Staying connected in a digital world.
This tech savviness in an increasingly digital world empowers them to maintain a level of independence and self-reliance that might otherwise be compromised by a rapidly evolving digital landscape. Lifelong learning also leads to enhanced self-esteem and confidence. Many seniors, especially those who retired from long, impactful careers, can struggle with a loss of identity and purpose.
Finding purpose after work ends.
Setting new goals, learning new skills, and successfully achieving them provides a significant boost to self-worth and a renewed sense of purpose. Mastering a musical instrument, learning a new language, engaging in creative writing, or even improving cooking skills provides a deep sense of accomplishment. This improved confidence doesn't just benefit the individual. It can positively impact their willingness to engage with others and contribute to their community dynamics.
And there's a real brain benefit to this, right? It's not just about feeling good, but actually keeping sharp.
Precisely. Critically, it offers powerful mental stimulation and cognitive health benefits. As we age, some cognitive decline is natural, and there's a risk of conditions like dementia. Activities like reading, taking up new hobbies, learning new skills, or engaging in complex problem solving are like exercise for the brain.
Use it or lose it.
Pretty much. They help create new neural connections, improve memory, and enhance problem-solving skills, potentially delaying the onset of cognitive decline. The sheer act of learning itself challenges the brain, requiring concentration, retention, and the ability to connect new information with existing knowledge, fostering cognitive resilience. It also fosters profound personal fulfillment. Many seniors discover or rediscover passions they simply didn't have time for during their working years, whether it's painting, gardening, delving into literature, or volunteering for a cause.
Finding joy in new things.
This brings immense joy, purpose, and combats the boredom and emptiness that can sometimes accompany retirement, providing a compelling reason to wake up excited each day. Over 31% of seniors are interested in continuing education, with a significant majority, 82%, doing so purely for enjoyment and 75% for personal fulfillment.
Doing it for the love of it.
Exactly. And finally, lifelong learning is a fantastic avenue for social engagement. Social isolation and loneliness are significant challenges for seniors, impacting mental and physical health.
Combating loneliness.
Classes, workshops, and discussion groups provide structured and enjoyable ways to connect with peers, discuss ideas, and collaborate on projects. These social interactions are essential for mental and emotional well-being, fostering a greater sense of belonging and community, and promoting active aging initiatives.
After I retired from teaching history, the days became formless. My life, one structured by semesters and lesson plans, had dissolved. I was Arthur, 71, a man defined by his past. My daughter, with the best intentions, enrolled me in a community center program. I dreaded the thought of mindless crafts and condescending cheerfulness. But the intake form surprised me. It didn't ask about my ailments. It asked, What story do you still feel is important to tell? And what knowledge do you possess that the world might need? A week later, I wasn't in a bingo hall. I was in a recording booth, part of a living library project, being interviewed by a young journalism student about my town during the civil rights era. My memories, my lived experience weren't a relic to be stored away. They were a primary source. The student's questions made me feel not old, but essential. I wasn't just participating in an active aging initiative. I was a historian again. The program hadn't just given me something to do. It had given me back a sense of my own narrative, bridging the man I was with the man I still am.
That's a beautiful illustration of how lifelong learning, or even just sharing existing knowledge, provides that sense of purpose and connection. It's not just about acquiring new skills, but valuing the wisdom that already exists.
Right, feeling essential, not just occupied.
While Geron technology holds immense promise, it faces challenges like cost and accessibility, as cutting-edge tech can be expensive and out of reach for many, creating a digital divide.
The tech gap.
User acceptance can also be a hurdle, as some older adults might be hesitant to adopt new technologies, especially if they aren't intuitively user-friendly or if they perceive them as complex. And critically, data security and privacy are significant concerns, given the sensitive health and personal information that might be collected by these devices.
Big concerns, definitely.
However, the opportunities for growth are vast, including personalized medicine, remote monitoring, and the creation of truly age-friendly communities where technology seamlessly supports healthy, independent living, enriching the lives of older adults.
So what does this all mean when we put it together? From the individual level of that soccer player to the workplace dynamics to public health policy, it seems like we're moving towards a much more nuanced and integrated understanding of age across the entire human experience.
It really feels that way.
It's not just about isolated stages or medical conditions, but a continuous interconnected journey that synthesizes biological realities with fluid sociocultural age constructs.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this integrated view is absolutely central to emerging fields like geroscience. Geroscience posits that by directly targeting the fundamental biology of aging itself, we can simultaneously delay or prevent multiple chronic diseases.
Targeting aging itself, not just the diseases.
Exactly. This represents a profound revolutionary shift from the traditional whack-a-mole approach in medicine, where we typically treat diseases one by one as they appear, often after they've already caused significant damage. Instead, geroscience aims to intervene at the root cause before those individual diseases even manifest.
That sounds like a dream for preventative medicine, rather than just reactive treatment. How does that connect with existing medical practice?
This approach has significant common ground with geriatric medicine, actually. While geroscience focuses on multiple morbidity and enhancing health span, the period of life spent in good health rather than just lifespan.
Health span again?
It aligns perfectly with geriatricians' existing focus on patient function and multimorbidity. The goal of geroprotective therapies is to slow biological deterioration across all cells and organs, thereby preserving youthful vigor for a longer time and ideally compressing the period of infirmities into a much shorter time frame at the very end of life.
Compressing morbidity.
Exactly. This also opens up an exciting new form of preventative medicine applicable across all ages, not just for the elderly. Clinical trials are already moving forward with compounds like rapamycin, metformin, and NAD precursors, all showing promise in modulating aging pathways.
So real treatments are being tested.
Yes. The proposed TAME, targeting aging with metformin trial in particular, is revolutionary because it moves beyond a traditional single disease emphasis. Instead, it incorporates multiple chronic disease endpoints, cardiovascular diseases, cancer, dementia, as an aggregate primary outcome measure, truly reflecting the multifaceted nature of aging-related health and the potential for broad impact.
Looking at the whole picture, what's fascinating here is how the idea of biological individuality, combined with these broader societal factors, pushes us towards truly personalized care throughout life. It's about recognizing that everyone's aging journey is unique, and that a one-size-fits-all approach simply won't cut it.
From the perspective of behavioral and social sciences, we know that human aging is profoundly influenced by factors beyond just our genes or pure biology. Longitudinal studies clearly demonstrate that people who score high on personality traits like conscientiousness,
like being organized,
meaning they're self-controlled, diligent, planful, and organized, tend to practice health-preserving behaviors, stay healthier longer, have fewer morbidities, and ultimately live to older ages.
Interesting link.
They're more likely to exercise, eat well, manage stress, and adhere to medical advice. The same holds true for individuals with better lifelong intellectual abilities, higher educational attainment, stronger social connections, and robust mental health. They consistently tend to survive to later ages with greater health span.
So lifestyle and social factors are huge.
It's a testament to the power of lifestyle and social determinants.
So it's not just about the medical intervention, but how we live our lives and the networks we build. How do we ensure these incredible advancements in geroscience benefit everyone, not just a select few?
That's a critical ethical question. This understanding has critical implications for how we design interventions and implement public health policy. For instance, inclusive trials are essential for addressing health disparities.
Making sure trials reflect everyone.
If geroprotective trials only enroll volunteers who are already socially advantaged, highly conscientious, educated, and well-connected, the findings won't tell us how to benefit the broader population, particularly those who bear a disproportionate burden of age-related diseases and who may face systemic barriers to health.
Right. The results wouldn't apply broadly.
Disadvantaged social groups, unfortunately, tend to age fastest and die youngest, meaning they are precisely the ones who need these therapies the most. Therefore, trials need robust behavioral expertise in inclusive sampling, adherence, and retention to ensure these benefits can be extended to everyone, promoting health equity.
Getting the right people involved.
Furthermore, to truly personalize approaches, we desperately need non-invasive, inexpensive, and repeatable ways to accurately measure an individual's pace of biological aging, rather than waiting for a disease diagnosis or death to confirm the impact of an intervention.
A biomarker for biological age.
Exactly. This would allow for much earlier, more targeted interventions throughout life, revolutionizing preventative medicine. This raises an important consideration. What's the broader societal impact of all this? The potential economic gains alone from slowing aging are immense, pointing to a future where healthy aging contributes significantly to national prosperity and shifts the narrative around older populations.
The economic upside.
This concept is often called the longevity dividend. Even a minor slowdown in the rate of biological aging could lead to substantial health and economic returns. A 2013 estimate suggested that a minor slowdown in aging could yield an astounding $7.1 trillion for the U.S. economy by 2060.
$7 trillion.
With a T. Think about that. This is due to reduced healthcare costs as people stay healthier longer, increased productivity from healthy older workers remaining in the workforce or contributing in other ways, and less strain on social support systems. And these estimated benefits would be even greater today, especially if geroscience-guided interventions could also diminish the risk of severe COVID-19 and future pandemics that disproportionately affect older or biologically aged individuals, reducing economic disruption and healthcare burdens.
Huge potential benefits. But what's stopping us?
A fundamental barrier to making real progress in this area, however, is ageism. Coined over 50 years ago, ageism encompasses prejudicial attitudes towards older people, discriminatory practices against them, and institutional policies that perpetuate negative stereotypes.
Ageism. Still a big problem.
This insidious bias is prevalent everywhere, in broadcast media, clinical settings, research, and even education. We, as a society, must fundamentally reevaluate how we view aging, recognizing it not as an inevitable decline, but as an opportunity for continued contribution, well-being, and a vibrant phase of life, challenging these ingrained social scripts.
Changing the narrative.
This connects directly to the field of inclusion health, which explicitly addresses health inequities among vulnerable and excluded populations. These groups, people experiencing homelessness, drug users, ex-prisoners, sex workers, and many others, often have multiple overlapping risk factors, many of which are rooted in childhood adversity and early developmental challenges.
Often the most overlooked groups.
They also face significant systemic barriers to accessing services. Effective interventions for these populations are not just about individual well-being, they are crucial for improving broader societal health and reducing overall health inequalities, as the health of the most vulnerable often reflects the health of the whole.
Lifting everyone up.
Achieving this requires cross-sector collaboration. The principle of place-based approaches helps reduce health inequalities by bringing together local government, health, and social care organizations to address interconnected risk factors like housing, income, education, and community resilience within specific geographical areas.
Working together locally.
This holistic, community-focused approach ensures that efforts are coordinated and impactful, addressing the complex web of social determinants that shape health across the lifespan and truly fostering an integrated lifespan development model.
So, from that guy in the park pulling a hamstring to global public health policies, it's clear that age is a far more complex and fascinating journey than we often give it credit for. It's not just a number on a birthday cake or a simple linear progression.
Not at all.
It's a dynamic interplay of our biology, the expectations society places on us, and the incredible opportunities we have to shape our own experiences and help others shape theirs, from childhood all the way through our later years. It's about understanding the nuances of the human lifespan and leveraging that knowledge for a better collective future.
Indeed. By embracing the fluidity of age, understanding our biological realities while actively challenging the limiting social scripts, we unlock profound opportunities for enhanced health, deep well-being, and living authentically across every single stage of life. The future of aging is not just about living longer, it's about living fuller, richer, and more connected lives, defined by our choices and continued growth, rather than by a mere number. It's about recognizing that every age has its unique strengths and contributions, and that a truly thriving society embraces and nurtures them all.